Good morning. Today we're kind of in between painting ideas, so we're going to do a little bit of stream of consciousness, uh, creative visual journaling, and I have some examples that I'll show you before we get started. Journaling is an invaluable part of the creative process. Sometimes we'll make journal entries from direct observation, like this little watercolor painting. Sometimes it'll be, from images that we might see in books, like this little gargoyle watercolor painting. Other times, they might be master copies. This is a bad copy of a Winslow Homer watercolor. Sometimes they might be from imagination. And no matter what the case may be, this sort of journaling represents a kind of a low cost, low risk way of getting some work in, working out different ideas. You could quickly abandon them if you wish to. Excuse me. And there's nothing lost, only lessons gained. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a stream of consciousness journal entry. By the way, sometimes it could be little line sketches like this. I kind of have this series where I'm doing historically iconic creatives, painters, writers, so on and so forth, and comedians, musicians. But occasionally we'll do just random stream of consciousness sketches like this. And we're going to do that just a slightly larger scale in one of my larger journals. And who knows, maybe it'll result in the formulation of some ideas for maybe like an abstract painting in the future. But in any event, this is something I just wanted to bring to the channel and kind of show as part of the process that I follow in order to stay active at times when I don't have like a clear idea formulated for a painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this larger sketchbook. This is a smoother paper. It's not particularly good for like watercolor, even though, I'll experiment with that. This is a watercolor painting that I did, mixed media really, with ballpoint pen out in the field. Here's a study of the greats that I recently even posted on the channel. This is based upon a painting from Walter Baum. It's actually near the entrance of the Allentown Art Museum, and got to see it live last weekend. Incredibly beautiful painting, and I just wanted to kind of just study it by recreating it with ballpoint pen and acrylic markers. There's an Edward Redfield painting. Both of those guys are great, historically important, great painters from the New Hope school. And all kinds of things in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these pages in between that I know I'm not going to use for more literal work. And actually this one right here is a good one. I'm going to go ahead and fill this page right here with just some stream of consciousness abstract ideas. So one of those things where you just kind of have to let go. You're not trying to create anything literal. You're not trying to intentionally create any sort of emotional reaction. You're just playing. What I'm going to do here is just use some masking tape to kind of create some fragmented lines. And we'll fill each of these sections that are created with relatively random marks. I know, I tend to be somewhat biased toward different shapes, triangles, for example. This one doesn't make it to the edge of the page, but that's okay. We're going to leave that. And we'll go ahead and see what happens. All right, so sometimes when we engage in this sort of process, this play, if you will, we'll accidentally stumble upon an effect that could be created by a different mark, a pairing of different colors. Sometimes it's just kind of a cathartic process. Sometimes this might be the only creative thing you might do in a day, so it could be invaluable in that sense, even if it amounts to nothing. I'm literally just making random marks, shutting off my executive functions here. I'm not making really any conscious decisions. All right, I'm gonna go. Red. This is a multicolor ballpoint pen that I use for a lot of my portrait sketches and my journal entries. I'm a fan of Impressionism, so I think the juxtaposition of saturated color next to each other, creating different visual vibrations. It happens when using this particular instrument, so I think it appeals to me. So, in any event, I'm probably going to stop talking for a little while and just kind of go with the flow here for a bit. And that's really what this open studio session that I've been doing is all about. You could just watch my process. Most of these sessions are pretty quiet. Just inviting you in. So if you're interested in my art and the process that I follow, seeing what other artists are doing, if you're an artist, just curious, bored, or having a hard time falling asleep, this might be your place, these open studio sessions. So appreciate you joining. off. Oops. And we'll take this off. Okay. Maybe we'll leave one and we'll add another. See where this brings us. And we'll bring in, this is going to be very much a mixed media, at least I think initially a mixed media sort of journal entry here. I'll probably move into acrylic markers, maybe some watercolors too, we'll see. So just looking to fill up this page. Sometimes it's helpful to focus on breathing, almost like a meditation. Sometimes out of chaos, uh, an ideal formulate, and there might be something a little bit more literal that will be driven to create kind of as part of this, but sometimes it just remains chaotic like this. Whatever it is, it's okay. Let it become whatever it is it's going to become. All right. Keep coming back to the orange. Yeah, there's something about the orange ink in these multicolored ballpoint pens. I find that I'm drawn to use that quite a bit, and I think I've done some drawings exclusively with the orange that are more literal, but using this kind of scribble method um, to derive the image. And this orange ink almost reminds me of the red chalk that was used, back, let's think of the Renaissance artists like Da Vinci. Um, they would do sketches and with red chalk. It kind of has a similar effect on these small journal pages, so you can have some fun with it that way. But for this, um, I like the juxtaposition of that orange against some of the darker colors. So I think I'm subconsciously just drawn to using it. All right, and we'll shift that tape again. Did I get the wrong one? Yeah, I did. Lifting up the wrong one. There we go. Okay. Let's another vertical. Let's see. I know this has to be insanely boring to watch, but I think where some of the value might come into play is, amongst those folks who say, hey, you know what, I'd love to learn to paint or learn to draw or just be a little bit more creative from time to time, but say I don't have the ability to create art. I can't draw, I can't paint. In reality, you do. You just have to maybe start from a place where you don't care about the outcome, detach yourself from the outcome. Easier said than done, but that could be the start of something for you if you're able to do it. And journaling, creative journaling like this, visual journaling, especially if you involve stream of conscious work like this, it could be the beginning of that for you. That's a big part of the reason why I'm sharing this. Red. I'm not really watching the chat and the comments. I'll take a peek hopefully in a moment if I can get technology to cooperate. But I appreciate you joining. We'll probably get back to painting tomorrow or the next day. Today we're doing a stream of consciousness journal entry here. Just playing with the use of color and lines, not thinking. It's, you know, a little abstract. Still getting some creative work in. And if you follow my channel, you may have seen some of the other stuff that I do in my journal. That's a little bit more literal, studying the greats, portrait exercises with ballpoint pen. That's Dwight Schrute from The Office, if you don't recognize him. Benjamin Franklin. That's a study of a Wyeth painting, man from Boston. But today we're going abstract, stream of conscious. It's a very helpful exercise for me. I have about 4 or 5 different ideas for paintings that I haven't fully fleshed out, and this is gonna allow me to get some practice in with mark making, some experimentation. Forgive me for a second. I'm gonna take a little break. Just adjust my chair. And I just want to look at my monitor and make sure that I'm not ignoring questions or comments if they're coming up. Okay. Go back with the orange. One of the nice things about this process is there is no success, there is no failure. Whatever gets laid down is what it is, and you may get something interesting as a result of the marks that you make. You might not. It just doesn't matter. I'm going to reuse some of that same tape. Side here. Some green in there. I haven't done anything with green yet. Not worried about creating straight lines, not worried about conveying any particular idea. Absolutely no pressure here, just making marks. You can even switch arms. I'm very left hand dominant. I just switched to my right hand. Make sure you breathe when you do that because it could be one of those things which triggers you to kind of hold your breath. But there's no preciousness to this. If I make a mistake, that there is no mistake. There literally is no mistake here. This is just scribbling. I don't even know what color I have right now. It's orange. So, oops. Let's take it partially off. Do this. There we go. And the same thing here. Take this piece partially off. Sticking with orange, making random marks, switching hands. Holding this pen almost like a paintbrush right now. Almost looks like a, I don't know, like a Jackson Pollock drip painting or something like that. But that's not the intention. It's just kind of what's emerging from this. What appear to be random lines. So the painting ideas that I'm thinking of are landscape paintings. Have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing here. But they just need a little bit more time to incubate. The actual format of the scene, the medium I'm going to use, oil, pastel, acrylic, what have you. The scale, the size, the substrate, canvas board, gesso board, sanded paper, whatever. Heck, maybe watercolor. But so all that's being fleshed out, and I have some decisions to make. Hopefully, I'll make them by in advance of tomorrow. So maybe in the live session, we could be working on a nice big painting. But I wanted to introduce this part of my studio process to you because these journals are invaluable. I'm gonna take a break there and just I'll show you some of the excuse me, some of the additional work that I've done. I'll get another one of my journals, my watercolor journal that I'm in the process of starting to fill up. This one tends to be watercolor and casein, and these are actually mostly from direct observation. It's our actual dining room. Here's a scene that I painted on plein air. Stepping stones. It's near Delaware Water Gap, where we live in Pennsylvania. Here's a scene behind the baseball fields. In our town on Broadhead Creek. Here's the lake in our community. Here's a scenic overlook. Kind of a lesser known overlook, not too far from our home. Nature preserve, forever green. These were done through direct observation on plein air. Scene, little snow scene down by the lake near our home. So I'm showing you these just because, yeah, these journals could be just about anything that you want. I have quite a few pages to fill, but this is a nice watercolor journal. That's Stillman and Byrne. They make a nice journal. Or you can go the route of kind of abstract entries like this, stream of consciousness. It's all valuable stuff to folks that are interested in creating art. So that's why I'm sharing it. Closer to these edges of the tape here to build up contrast maybe. Okay. Go to a darker color. Off. See what we got. Oops, pulling some of the paper off. Want to avoid that if we can. Okay. I'm going to bring in some highlighter. See what this does here. And let's see. I'm going to bring in some of our multicolored ballpoint pen. Let's see. Or maybe some of our acrylic. Oh, okay. An uneven edge. Let's use that. Okay. We'll let that dry for a little bit. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to rattle you there. I accidentally hit my camera. Okay. And let's see. Come back through with more orange. All right, pretty dry. I'm going to come through with another bit of actually, you know what? Flip that over. Nope. You know, a little bit of a darker color. Let's see. Darker and warmer. Today we're doing a stream of consciousness journal entry, mixed media. Not intentionally drawing anything. It's kind of just abstract, whatever comes to mind, whatever marks I feel like making. Just part of the creative process here. I'm in between paintings. Come back tomorrow probably with a fully fleshed out painting idea starting from a blank canvas in the open studio session. But for today, this is what we're doing. Sometimes interesting ideas will emerge from this that can be used for a painting idea. More than anything else, just a way of kind of get some work in, making some marks. And what I've used so far is this ballpoint pen of all different colors, some highlighter, and some acrylic markers. So that's what we have going so far. We're going to keep going. My purple. Going right over those acrylic marker marks that I made. This is all part of the creative process. You never know, there might be a large abstract painting kind of hiding in this. You can follow a similar process on a large canvas. There could be frameable art that emerges from one of these journal entries. You never know. That's not the objective, though. On any given day, it could mean, oh boy, I have a huge to-do list and more meetings than I can handle. Um, this might be the only opportunity to do anything creative, and in that sense, it's a win just by virtue of spending a couple quiet moments just making random marks. All right, that's my orange. Switching hands, I'm left-handed. I'm gonna get my right hand involved here, even though I don't have much control over what my right hand is doing. All right, now I want to fight the urge to start thinking consciously about what it is that I'm doing, because we want this to be stream of consciousness. We don't want this to be, we don't want the executive functions coming into this at all. And this marker is almost spent. So these marks that are coming from this marker are very, very faint. All right, what do I see here? Nothing. Let's see. All right. Let's see. I think interesting colors do we have here? A little bit of a different yellow. Orange. Let's see, how does this do? That's a little bit more opaque. What does this do? Let's see. Did I use this already? Oh no. Is this the same color? No. All right. Probably incorporate the tape again here. Let's see. There. Okay. Go back to the ballpoint pen. Have a little bit of orange ballpoint pen going here. Go to blue. Red. Purple. Orange. I think we're close to done here. So we got, have to relift this tape off. Maybe one or two more rounds with the orange ballpoint pen. Yeah, so today we're doing a really abstract stream of consciousness journal entry, multimedia. We have multicolored ballpoint pens, highlighters, and um, we also have acrylic markers. That's what we have going on today. Uh, we're kind of in between paintings, so we're just getting some work in. I'm doing it by kind of sinking into our subconscious. All right, I think we'll call it a day here. We'll be back again tomorrow. And who knows what we'll be doing? Maybe another stream of consciousness journal entry, but most likely we'll be working on a painting, um, most likely a landscape painting. All right. So here's our abstract stream of consciousness journal entry for today. Maybe something like this will be a painting we'll work on in the future. But we used ballpoint pen, multicolored ballpoint pen, acrylic markers, and highlighters. A little bit of a departure from what we do on the channel normally. Study the greats, original artwork, portrait work, and that sort of thing. But occasionally you just need to add a little bit of variety. And this is part of the process that I follow in order to work out different ideas while I'm kind of in between paintings. So I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day and stay well. That's it for today's open studio live stream. Thanks for checking out my work, and hope you have a great day.